And joining us now in a first on CNBC interview is Tilray CEO, Irwin Simon. Welcome back, Irwin. Good to see you.
Good afternoon, Sarah. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Help us understand the vision here. Is it whiskey infused with marijuana? What's the logic behind this deal? And you are on quite a buying spree, as usual.
First of all, Breckenridge Distillery is a fast-growing brand spirits business. The whiskey business is growing over 10%. It's actually the fastest growing within the spirits category, next to tequila and vodka. So as you know, I want to be in businesses which are growing fast. You look at cannabis, it's going to be a $100 billion opportunity in the U.S. You look at, the whiskey business, it will be about $100 billion. Right now, I see the opportunity of taking spirits, owning the brands, and ultimately, once cannabis is legal, you would infuse them with THC. And with that, I love to own brands, and I think the Breckenridge brands has so much potential to grow, so much distribution. And then when cannabis is legal, hey, we will infuse it with THC. We will come out with edibles with THC. And that way, millennials and our consumers know the brand.
So when cannabis is legal is the key. And I know this is a big play to that strategy. And that's really what drives a lot of the optimism around the sector. Irwin, is there something that is giving you more confidence that this is happening sooner under the Biden administration?
So, Sarah, I want Tilray to be a consumer packaged good company that's very well diversified. We have a good business in Canada with lots of growth opportunities in Canada, and with a market that's 3 years old, lots of changes happening up there. Europe is going to legalize, with the new chancellor coming into, play today and being appointed. Hey, I see Germany legalizing within the next year. Ultimately, we should hear something from Germany in the next few weeks at the beginning of the year. With that, there's a $3 billion opportunity in Europe, and we have a great foundation in Europe. The U.S. has not happened like I thought it would. As a matter of fact, you just saw Schumer pull away, from his defense bill in regards to the Safe Bank Act. So with that, Sarah, I want to make sure we own businesses that got growth, EBITDA, but that are adjacency to the cannabis industry once legalization happens. And Breckenridge Distillery is one of those great brands.
I'm sure you saw recently Barclays initiated on the sector, underperform on your stock, and they really poured cold water on this whole optimism over U.S. legalization, said it's not going to necessarily be a panacea for the industry, not just for Canadian producers, but actually sees a scenario where the U.S. could try to reduce consumption, more of a tobacco playbook, not to mention the higher state and federal taxes, which could hurt the manufacturers. How do you push back on that?
Listen, I come back and I say legalization will happen. But as I said before, I put out there, a plan to grow our business, in Canada, in Europe, and to be a consumer packaged good business. And if legalization took longer to happen in the U.S., we are in a great place with great brands, great categories that are growing. I think that's what's important. The spirits category is growing 10%. Whiskey is the fastest. In regards to our beer and our brand 420, good growth there. And we'll have in place, whenever legalization does happen, a distribution, and we'll have brands that ultimately we can, ingest with cannabis or THC.
What do you make of this stock? It's up this year, but it's been so volatile, and it's just it has these crazy moves. I know retail investors are a big part of that story, but what do you think Wall Street is getting right or wrong here?
Listen, I think you come back and look at the stock, and ultimately, once everybody thought legalization was happening, everybody wanted to jump into it. Tilray is a stock that trades on the NASDAQ and the Toronto Stock Exchange. We do not own, any cannabis businesses in the U.S. We own the notes from MedMan upon legalization. We will, have a good percentage ownership, 22% of MedMan. We have a diversified business within the hemp business with Manitoba Harvest. Our Sweetwater 420, we have a great brand there that has tremendous distribution. And then we have our Canadian and our international business. I think, again, it's just getting to know what Tilray is. It's just not a cannabis company anymore, but a lot of adjacencies with products that ultimately will link to cannabis upon legalization. And there has been a lot of cannabis companies that haven't performed. And I think we got some of the wrath from that, and that's what happened to our stock.
I feel like there's also been a big disappointment in Canada, which is still the market. I know you've got your eye internationally and on some of the growth opportunities, but what has happened there? Got this big surge during COVID with people staying at home, and then it seems to have really fallen off.
You're 100% right. And if you come back and look at some of the top, cannabis companies in Canada, everybody's having their challenges up there. Prices have come down. The consumer now is looking for different products in regards to potency. A lot of stores open, which are going to close. You're going to see a big consolidation within the Canadian market. We lost some share up in Canada, of course, but we still are the #1 cannabis company in Canada with 12.8% share. We are the largest producer up there. So I think it's going to be good for us because the consolidation, there's over 500 LPs that will ultimately go away. But the big thing is this here. Listen, the big bet ultimately is legalization in the U.S. So if we have a strong adult use business in Canada, a strong medical use business in Canada, a strong business in Europe, we got great consumer brands with Breckenridge and Sweetwater and Manitoba Harvest in the U.S. When legalization does happen in the U.S., we're going to be the player out there.